from that perspective, according to your definition, if dad funded all of mom's starts, does that make her a Nepo wife?
Hello, namaste. Zarna Garg here with the Zarna Garg Family Podcast, and all 5 Gargs are in the house. This is so exciting, and we're going to talk about a topic that's going to make you angry today. You're going to have heated feelings about it. We are going to talk about nepotism and why it works. Why it works as a business strategy, why it works as a family strategy, or if we think it doesn't work at all. What are your opinions on this topic? All 5 Gargs are in the house. Let me not waste any time. Let's get right into it. Let me introduce everybody. Shalab Garg, my husband of 26 years, Wall Street veteran. Zoya Garg, my daughter who just graduated college. My son Bridge Garg, who is in college right now. And my middle schooler Veer Garg. We're all here. And what do we think about nepotism? What do we think about families building businesses together? What do we think about families working together? Who wants to get into it?
First of
Well,
all, can you
first-
just define nepotism? What is nepotism?
I was going to say the same thing. What is it?
So we all have the common understanding, right? What? Because I got confused a few days ago on this topic when we were having a meal together. So let's just Zoya, you define it.
So nepotism actually comes from a Latin word, not to be so classicist
I
of
like
me.
that. Yeah.
And it comes from the root nepo, which is to be born from, natare. It's like you've been born from something else, right? And to me, what nepotism is when you are the spawn, the child of someone who has built something and are leveraging the value that that person has created for your own benefit.
So how
I
is that
disagree
different?
with that. I don't think that's the definition of nepotism.
All right,
Okay, go for
what do
it,
you
Veer.
think, Veer?
I think that nepotism is when you get opportunities based off that without working hard enough for it. Not just you
That's-
can.
Okay, that's
I
a
can.
drastic.
I can leverage. I can leverage what mom is giving me while doing work just as hard as she does, and I don't think that's nepotistic.
So
Wait.
you think nepotism has a bad connotation to it?
Yeah, I do.
I personally think.
So Bridge, I have another question. Is it different in your guys' opinion of being born of a business family and then taking over that business as the son or daughter of that business family? Is that
Bridget-
nepotistic?
that to me is. Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's nepotistic. But I actually align very closely with Didi's definition of nepotism, and I actually want to explain a little bit why. See, the thing was with Veer's definition, and I hear where he's coming from. Like, if you're working hard, it's not like you're just giving everything for free, like you're just giving money and whatever. But I will say, getting that opportunity in the initial circumstance wouldn't have occurred if your parents haven't already worked for it. So because half the battle in most of these situations is getting the opportunity, right? People are fighting for the opportunity to get an interview. You're fighting for the opportunity to get a promotion. You're competing in these pools of people so that you can eventually get there. But whereas with nepotism, and I'm not saying this is necessarily mean nepotism is the worst thing in the world. I'm just saying that with nepotism, you're given the opportunity because of somebody else's hard work and their relationship with you. It's kind of how I view nepotism, which aligns a little bit more closely with Didi. Now, getting back to Dad's question. Sorry, can you repeat the question one more time?
I'm asking the question whether, if you were born in a business family, in a business that's already established, and as a career, you chose to be part of that business that's already established, either to further grow it or to manage it or to maintain it. Is that nepotistic?
That, in my opinion, is nepotism. If you decide to join the business after it's established, even if it's a business, it doesn't even have to be a business, anything. It could be food, commerce, whatever. If you decide to join once you're an adult and like that's your workforce, that is nepotism to me. Now, what's not nepotism, because this is an important distinction, especially for us, is if you were part of the initial reason and why this became established. If you helped grow the business before it was established, and then you decide to make that your full-time thing, that's not nepotism, because this wouldn't have existed as strongly without you. Does that make sense?
I mean, yeah, but it just feels potatoes, tomatoes type differentiation. Like, not like to me, why is it such a big deal if an older generation worked at establishing it and the next one then took it to another level or at least made an effort to do so?
Wait, I want to say something about that. I personally, I know I said that I associate it with a negative connotation, but if somebody were to call me a Nepo baby, which I actually have been called, I don't take any offense. Because I think that from an outside view, if I were them, I would be thinking the same thing. But I, as a person, know what work I have and haven't done. So I don't take it in any negative way.
Because you're so confident in what you've done. You don't
And
need
not-
to be offended by it.
who calls you a Nepo baby, Veer?
There's been multiple people at school who have called me a Nepo baby.
I've
Like,
been
that's
called
just
a
something
Nepo
that's
baby
happened.
as well.
You've been called a Nepo baby, Zoya. This is so ridiculous. I just
What
can't
about you,
believe it.
So
Rich?
ridiculous. It's not even, oh my
I mean,
God.
have I been called a Nepo husband?
Okay, listen. The internet is fascinated by the concept of Nepo babies. Fascinated. I feel like I see a new headline every single day about Nepo baby this, Nepo baby that, allegations of Nepo baby. And I've noticed that people do a lot better when they acknowledge what has been given to them and how that has shaped their experiences. Like, people really don't like when you've been given something that they feel like they can't attain and you didn't acknowledge it. So I like to be the first person to say that I was given birth to a very, very funny mom who we always saw was very talented. And we, as children, rallied around this woman and were like, we're going to try and build a business out of this. That is what happened. And I think what Veer is bringing up, which is really important, is we never saw ourselves as people that just basically were given some sort of huge amount of money at birth and just didn't really have to work hard. So I think that is what I see as what has been given to me. And I
That-
think, yeah.
To me, the nepotism in the Indian context comes up most frequently in Bollywood, like actors, children's getting roles in movies and whatever. Personally, I think people who are producing the movie should do whatever they want. It's their money. They should hire their kid or not their kid or whatever they want. But secondarily, I think the other distinction is people get upset with the tag of nepotism when it feels like somebody just came in and took the top job with no skill, with no involvement in the building of it whatsoever. That feels oppressive to somebody watching from the outside who is aspiring for that job. But even
But
within a
Zarna, in
family,
business
in
families,
our-
that happens all the time, right? That
in
is
what
exactly.
family? No, actually, I was just gonna say that it seems like that, and I think anytime that does happen, when the head of the business just appoints their kid to the top of the business, that person is never gonna earn anybody's respect because that person's not done nothing to earn the respect. But I think if somebody, in our case, right, I always tell our kids, the only jobs you guys can have in my business right now are the hardest jobs. Zoya has to go out there and sell an insane amount of, she has to do something that almost nobody else can do. That makes people earn their respect. Bridge edited my most expensive editing video, my most expensive collaboration video. Editing that video was hours and hours and hours of back breaking precision oriented job. When you start from the ground up, whether you're nepo or not a nepo or whatever, there is at least an opportunity to earn the respect of others. But if somebody just appoints you at the very top, like if I'm making a movie, we haven't seen somebody do anything, and now suddenly that person is the hero or the heroine of the movie. I understand. I still think producers should do whatever they want. It's their money. But I understand the hate in that case, and I also understand. I also empathize with the kids because they might be really good kids, but we'll never know. They
Well-
might actually be kids with skills, with talent and ambition, but we'll never know, and we'll always be questioning it because that person never worked the journey of climbing up that ladder.
Okay, I have a secondary question then. As an example, Steve Jobs founded Apple. We all know
Yeah.
that. He has only one daughter. She never did anything in technology, doesn't have anything to do with technology or with Apple or with the industry at all. But she's a billionaire kid who's into
Yeah.
philanthropy and lives a billionaire life. Do you see her as a Nepo philanthropist?
But
Yes.
You mean as
Yes.
giving money away?
She's giving money away. That's what she's doing as a full-time life.
But I don't see. Okay, yes, she is by definition a child of great
Privilege.
Privilege. She is a nepo baby.
But she has nothing to do with Apple or with technology.
Yes, that's true. But her name that she's deriving value from is built on the back of her father, right? But I don't see nepotism as this bad thing. I'm not one of the, I think God gives you a lot of cards, right? Like, and it's your responsibility to take whatever cards you're given and make the most out of those cards. That is your God's given right. Like, that is the most important thing you can do. Now, if somebody is given a huge platform and they decide to use it for something positive, I can't understand why that is such a bad thing. I believe that what's happening actually in the world right now is people are suffering so much because they feel like they have so much talent and they have no ability to actually put it forth in the world. That is a separate issue than taking issue with someone who has been given a card and has decided to use it in whatever way or another. I don't know a lot about Steve Jobs' daughter, and I have no comment on that really. But what I do know is that, some people are really good at math, and then there are hundreds of opportunities to be able to leverage that. Or if you're an excellent writer, there are ways to actually.
But that's not an equal comparison, because
Yeah.
now you're comparing skill to privilege. If you're good at math and you're leveraging that skill, nobody has an issue with that. But you're born into a certain specific set of circumstances and you're leveraging that. That's what people have issue with. I don't have an issue with, but I'm just saying that these are two separate things.
Why do
Yes,
you not
that's
have an
true.
issue with it?
Because people, like, for example, a producer or a business person is running their business and has a right to run their business however they want. They don't owe anybody opportunity. That's just not.
Yeah.
It's
And
not like a human condition that if I build a comedy business tomorrow, the reason I want my kids to start the ground up is for their interest. It's not because I owe public at large anything. I want my kids to have the self-respect and self-esteem that comes from climbing up that ladder. But
and
I don't owe anybody in the human race, like, oh, I built this comedy business, so I must open it up to 10,000 other people who might be qualified for it. Why would I do that?
And to extend off of that, also, if I was like a CEO or founder of a company or got into political office or whatever, it's also often much easier to give a position to someone you know is hardworking and you can trust, rather than vet like a billion interviews and then go through every single one and still not having the full picture of somebody. But for example, if I wanted to hire Veer, I know everything about him. I know exactly what his skill set is. I know exactly how to utilize him in the best capability. And if there was a position perfectly for Veer, I'm not going to not give it to somebody and not have to go through the interview process because like I don't want him to have a nepotism, whatever. But I would obviously want him to take it because I already know that he would be perfect at that position, which I think is something that people overlook a lot. Now, do I think nepotism is a bad word? I personally do. I wouldn't like to be called a nepo baby. I mean, again, like Veer, it doesn't bother me when people call it because I'm not really bothered by any negative thing people say to me, but I would not like to be, you only get, I've been talking about this last like 8 podcasts now. I don't want to say it again, but you really do only get one life. And I don't want to be known as like a nepo baby my entire life. I was given everything. That's why we discussed so in large last podcast episode about how, what we want to do with our future goals. But I don't personally want to be called a nepo baby. I've also put in so much work. I feel like I think I deserve recognition for the work I've put in, not only within, our business, but within our business. I think I deserve a lot of recognition. Same as Didi, same as Veer, same as Mom, same as everybody else who's worked within our business. But, I don't want to live my life putting in that work and never getting recognition for it. And
I agree. Yeah.
I think that's something that's important.
I think also one thing about nepotism in general that I've noticed is the people that just do a lot of high quality work, like excellent work over and over again, seem to drown out whatever their
Yeah.
initial starting point was, which is
Yeah.
something that really inspires me. For example, Gwyneth Paltrow is somebody I really, really look up to. And I had no idea that she actually came from 2 extremely like amazing actors and actresses. And now to me, when I was growing up, I saw her and I just saw her for what she was, because she's also an incredible businesswoman and an incredible female mentor and all these things. Gracie Abrams, who's taken the world by storm as a singer-songwriter, like, people have no idea actually that she came from a director like the Star Wars director. I had no idea, actually. I don't know who told me that. And so what really inspires me, especially about these women, is they took the opportunity that was in front of them, and they proved time and time again with this large body of work that we are very talented and we can do a lot of hard work ourselves. And I think that is something that I hope to do, and to prove, because I think work speaks for itself.
I have
I
a
think
question for you. I
nepotism
mean,
is-
I don't want to keep. Sorry, Veer, go ahead.
I think nepotism is so interesting because something that Shah Rukh Khan's son said that really has stuck with me is that if you're the baby of somebody who's been successful, if you do well, you're a nepo baby. You're somebody who got your opportunities based off your father/mother. But if you don't do well, it's like you're the son/daughter of somebody successful and you still weren't able to do anything. So there's just not really anything you can do. You're stuck in like a box.
And by the way, why is it that
Wow.
he, Shah Rukh Khan's son that you bring up, has to face all this scrutiny, but I don't see anybody providing same kind of scrutiny to Mukesh Ambani's son or daughter at all. I mean,
I
they
don't
are.
know that that's true. I think
But
they
who-
I
get
feel like
is?
everyone just assumes. I think we all just assume that he's obviously a nepo baby. I don't think anyone is like thinking that he's
Yeah,
not.
I mean, I think because Bollywood is just, it's a very public industry, so people talk about it, and feel like they have a right to have an opinion. But it's true, it's going on in every industry, it's going on in politics, it's going on in, it goes on everywhere. People hire their relatives and family members across the board all the time. This is not, it happens in aristocracies, it happens in I'm sure it's happening in a church and a temple. I'm sure there is a son of a priest somewhere who's getting an opportunity in some temple that 1,000 other priests want, but this kid got it because he's the son of the priest.
Well, this is one thing that I really
And
noticed.
politicians' sons as well. I mean, I mean, how many of them do we hear about?
Politicians, by definition, are nepo babies because once that name is established, everybody wants to milk it.
Well,
I mean, the Gandhi family, I mean, everyone pretty much.
and I think that was something I only started to appreciate in college, because I noticed that when I was looking for my first job, I remember speaking to older girls saying, how did you get your first job? Like, how do you figure out this internship process? And they were like, you need a warm connect. You always need a warm connect. And that warm connect can be a friendship. It can be, a relationship with a professor. It can be
What is a
hopefully
warm connect?
A warm connect meaning that somebody has personally handed your resume over to whoever is considering your application, or they've called ahead and said, hey, you can evaluate this person on your own, but here's our XYZ reasons based on my experience that they're a good person. Now, that warm connect, it exists in so many different forms, as mom and dad were just saying, but I think it's really interesting that nepotism, that form of warm connect, is not okay. I mean, by and large, when somebody says nepo baby, the reason why they're saying it is to diminish what you've done or who you are as a person. It's like a branding label that just can never go away. And I think that's something I'm personally very afraid of.
I want to take a quick break to tell you about our sponsors for today. College Shortcuts. Do you have a kid in high school who is looking to apply to college and you're confused, you're lost, you don't know what to do? What are we applying for? How are we going to write so many essays? What are going to be the summer activities? I've got the person who can help you out. College Shortcuts is run by a South Asian woman who's been through it all, who comes from a family of educators, who's an expert on it every step of the way. And guess what? Just for us, you can get a free consultation to find out if you're a fit with her. Talk to her once. She is offering a free consultation to the first 100 callers on her website, collegeshortcuts.com. Check her out and see if there's a fit. You have nothing to lose, and you might find somebody who makes this very daunting process much easier.
It's something that I've been afraid of for a long time. It's also one of the reasons that even though it makes...
Let me ask you, just like, let's say there are two individuals in life, right? And ultimately, over a 10-year period, they both achieve amazing things. But one of them did it completely on a self-start basis because did not have any connections. And the second one did it because they had a warm start, but they achieved similarly important things as the first one. Do you think the first one somehow has to be revered more than the second one, and why? I don't see
Wait,
it.
hold on. It depends. It depends on what the warm connect is. If it's just a warm connect that they built, definitely there's no difference.
No, let's say
But
they
if it's a
had like
warm
the golden spoon to start with.
A golden what? Spoon?
A golden spoon. In other words, they were born into privilege, and that privilege amounted to them having able to succeed more easily. But like Aditya Chopra is a great example. Adi Chopra
Yeah.
was born into a movie family, right? But
Mhm.
by all accounts, he has made better films than his father, Yash Chopra, ever did, or equally good, if not better films, right? Now, is Aditya Chopra any less successful than, let's say, Sanjay Leela Bhansali, who did not have any film background but has made equally amazing films? To me, they are both equally successful people. It makes no difference whatsoever that Aditya Chopra was born into the Chopra family and Sanjay
No, no,
Leela
no, hold on.
Bhansali
There,
did it on his
I
own.
there,
I think there's a
there,
huge difference.
Why?
there.
You
No,
can go,
no,
Veer. No,
wait.
Veer, you can
Let
go.
let Veer speak.
There's
Yeah, there you go.
there's always gonna be it's always gonna be equally successful. That's not the question. The question is, are they gonna be equally respected? And I think I would respect them the same because I don't care how you build your success. If you're successful, you're successful. But the public will probably perceive it differently.
Really? Why? I don't understand why the public should. If they do, then I think they're just an insecure public. I mean, they're both.
I mean,
Virgie,
I
go
perceive
ahead.
it differently. I think there's a
How?
difference.
Why?
Because Aditya Chopra did not have to fight the battle of getting into position and where he can make movies. That is a huge battle that you
But
have to fight. If he
maybe.
hold on. If he had okay, he has an incredible talent and skill to be able to produce incredible movies. Does that mean that he has an incredible talent and skill to interview and to do everything it takes to get in that position? He might not. And if he doesn't have that skill, then other people who do would have been in his position and he would never even have the chance to get there, or at least would have been delayed by a long, long, long time, right? Whereas this person did not, regardless of their movie skills, because I honestly don't know them, they had to have that skill and fight to be able to get to the position to create movies. They couldn't just turn on their creative brain. They had to turn on their negotiation brain, their interview brain, their different warm connect building brain, right? Which is a completely different battle that they had to fight. Which is why I'm not saying that, oh, Aditya, I hate you, you're a Nepo baby. I'm just saying that that person, in my opinion, deserves a little bit more respect because they actually had to go through a completely separate battle to get to where they were. Whereas Aditya, of course, super talented and amazing and as clearly a hard worker and has the it factor, did not have to go through that battle, so gets a little bit less respect from me.
Mom, I
That's
feel
just
like
my
you're
personal
quiet.
opinion.
I feel like you're a
No, I
little
mean,
quiet.
I think that, listen, I think that time and results end this debate. I mean, today nobody even thinks about Yash Chopra, even though he was iconic and without a doubt made amazing movies and arguably better movies than Aditya Chopra. But he took the business and multiplied it so many fold and created so much iconic stuff himself that it's irrelevant that he's a Nepo baby. And time that way does drown it out, the way Zoya said and we all said. Yes, at the opening start, you would respect somebody who built it from scratch just because anybody who hustles respects somebody who hustles.
Totally.
There is truth to game recognizing game, but beyond a certain point, like we can all sit here and be like, well, are we going to watch Sanjay Bansali's movie over Aditya Chopra's movie because we have this higher perception that this guy is more to be respected? No, of course not. We're going to watch the movie we want to watch, and ultimately it's about what product you're putting out into the world and what the people want to buy.
But mom,
Right.
here's one quote that I love that Didi introduced me to the movie. There are a million unsuccessful talented men, right? And that is the hardcore truth because a lot of people are very talented, but they don't know how to sell. They don't know how to sell themselves. They don't know how to sell any products that revolve around them. And I'm only saying I completely agree with everything you said. First of all, I'm not disagreeing with anything. I'm more just asking you a question based off of that. Do you think that people who were in the position that they had to sell themselves and shown that they're not just talent, but they're also a business acumen, kind of like yourself, deserve a little bit more respect than people who don't? And I'm not saying that means that they're any less hardworking or successful. But what do you think about that? Or is that
But
just
Bridge, you,
irrelevant?
you set the question up that the answer can only be one, which is that yes, the person who
No,
hustled.
I think
No,
it's not
but that
even. No, but I can edit it a little bit because I
yeah.
see what Shalab is saying, that the question seems to be going in one direction. It's not a matter of whether I believe they deserve it or not. That person is going to get more respect. There's just no way around it. Anybody with a brain is going to see all the challenges that this person went through. But that respect is whether that respect translates into dollars and money and business and success or not, that's a whole different thing. At the end of the day, people are going to buy or consume what they want to buy or consume. All these big picture debates about this is nepotistic and this kid got the opportunity and all, what gets people triggered is the unfairness of it all, is
Mm-hmm.
the injustice of it all. It feels unfair that somebody is born in privilege when the vast majority are not. That is what is tripping people up. And therefore, this quote coming to you, are you ready for it?
Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is.
What?
Is
Okay,
it
did you
is
say
it the one? Is it the one about unequally?
Yes.
Yes.
But
If
can you at
Life
least
is unfair, but it's equally unfair. Everybody gets something and loses something. I believe this quote has been attributed to Jackie Kennedy, whose husband got shot after who he was elected president, whose son died in a plane crash. Very handsome son who would have probably
Wow.
become president died in a plane crash. So I believe this is a quote that came from her, even though I'm not 100% sure, that life is unfair, but it's equally unfair. Everybody's gets a deck of cards and you play them the best you can. That is the
but why
competition
did
of life.
she make that quote? I mean, she was not a Nepo
Because
woman.
she had a lot of unfair circumstances, but she
She had
clearly,
a lot of
yeah.
advantage. You're not getting, like, her husband literally got shot after he got elected
Yeah,
as
I know,
president.
but I almost see her as on the receiving end of a lot of misfortune. Not
But that's what she's saying. That
Yeah,
on
but she
the
also,
outside,
yeah.
it looks like she's extremely fortunate. She's part of the Kennedy family. She married the most handsome president of the time. She had this son who was even more handsome than her husband. And look at how it turned out.
Yeah.
Like, you can't control life circumstances. That, yes, there were probably many points in time in their lives where everybody envied everything that this woman had.
I mean, do you think I'm a Nepo husband in
No.
that I'm benefiting, somehow from your mother's fame because people want to visit me for her fame or things of that nature?
No, because you funded every single idea that mom used to build the business that she's now built. On top of that, you also, your identity, your mom, your stories are used to build the business even bigger. Like, you are as a part of this business as she is, maybe just not as front facing, but of course you should benefit from her success. It would be ridiculous to think that you shouldn't.
From that perspective, if we look, I do not want to say anything. I think that mom is obviously the most hardworking woman I've ever seen. From that perspective, according to your definition, if dad funded all of mom's starts, does that make her a Nepo wife?
What? No. That's completely different because dad didn't make her a successful comedian. Dad didn't give her any comedian connects. He
Okay,
didn't
but-
give her any book connects. He didn't give her any publisher, director, or editorial connections. All he did was invest in a company. And he
But-
invested in the
but-
company and the
wait,
company.
Wait, let
grew.
Veer. No, mom, let Veer do it. Let Veer do it. Let Veer do
Yeah.
it. He's about to.
But she
skewer
would have
you.
had to make. She would have had to make all of that. That money doesn't just spawn into your life. Like, part of the reason that the dad of this Chopra, whatever, he had to make all of that money in order to get all of those connections and stuff. At some point, you're not just gonna be broke and be able to get connections so easily. You have to have the money.
Yeah, okay, so I agree with you. And I think it's a great point, actually, because if I wasn't thinking what I'm about to say, I would think that you just, that was an amazing point. And it is an amazing point, outstanding. But here's my rebuttal, is that dad creating the wealth to be able to invest in mom came through also mom. Mom was not just a bystander to
that's
dad
true.
creating his wealth. It was also very, very much a partnership in helping dad create the amount of wealth he did by doing various things. And that led to her getting a payout I'm saying payout, which sounds dirty, but you understand what I mean, a payout, and her getting investment from the money that she helped create, which makes it not net, which is what I'm saying. If you were there from the start to create
great.
something,
Those are
Great.
excellent
That
points.
is unbelievable. That argument
Well,
between you and your
I
brother.
actually want to bring this up actually because one story that stuck with me so much when I was growing up was how mom would make chai. Mom's chai is literally like the
Legendary.
best. Everybody told me when you go to India, you're gonna die. The chai is so good, and I was so excited to try it. And to be honest, it fell short of mom's chai. That's how good it is.
Because that's
Wait.
just sweet. Your mother keeps sugar very far
Can
away
I
from
finish
it.
my point? Can I just talk? Okay, yes, it's true. Anyways, mom's chai is so great. And one thing that she used to do for dad's bosses was they saw that she would make homemade chai for dad before he went to work. And I don't know how this started, but you, dad, started to give it to your bosses and to your coworkers. And they would be so excited that mom would delight them with this chai that it did. Did it not help your relationship with your
It,
team?
yes, I mean, I think they took it a little bit further than that and made it like almost like a. In hindsight, I think there were connotations of male. What's the word for that? The what's the
Like
word for male?
misogyny?
Male misogyny in there that I did not appreciate as much at the time, but I do today. But there were certainly symptoms of male misogyny in there
Well,
because
Wait, what?
okay, but he's saying that they liked that mom was serving them, basically, right?
yeah,
Is
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
uh,
That in their minds, it was a stay-at-home woman whose job it is to serve in whichever way she can. So there were symptoms of male misogyny that I did not. I wish I had at the time, but I did not because I was part of it. I was part of that male misogyny. But yes, putting that
yes?
feeling away, which I today recognize, yes, the answer is yes.
Okay. Anyway, so mom, her this story I remember when I was really young really stuck with me because it felt like she was using her softness to help propel you in your work. And I always was like, man, I wish that my mom could get the recognition of all this work she's doing. This among 100 other things that she was doing behind the scenes, including making sure your clothes were well fitted, including making sure that everything was handled at home so that you could focus on your job. Now, mom, you were behind the scenes of dad's business for 15 years, for more than that, for like 20 plus years. Was it hard for you to not be able to take that recognition for your own work every day?
No, because I mean, I thought at the time that that was the best thing I could do for our family. That the way to establish the family and to get all the things. I mean, somebody's got to give up something. The kids are not just gonna. Somebody had to raise you guys. Like that's just a decision that we made was to have a family and to have all the kids, and so I. The difficulty was not getting the recognition. I've never cared about that. What I was struggling with was self-worth. Not making my own money was wearing me down for sure. And it's not because your dad and I ever disagreed. Like he never told me don't spend it on this, and there was none of that. It's just knowing that I wasn't going out there and making my own money, and that, because I had agency. So it's not that like did I have agency on my life? I could do whatever
I've
I
never heard
wanted.
that from you. You've never told me that.
What?
That you struggled with not. You struggled with
Yeah,
self-esteem during that
I'm not
period.
sitting there every day thinking like how to have a new breaking news topic with Veer. Because you bring this up constantly that I haven't told me this and I'm telling you now.
Okay, but that's a pretty big like. Okay, whatever.
It's
Just
in the
continue.
book. It's in the book that I was struggling with my self-worth. When you're home with the kids full time, you start thinking you're worth nothing.
And
Because
Veer,
that
you are 13. There's a limit to how much can be told to you.
I mean, like anyway, so that's something that I struggled with. I didn't care about the recognition. If I had a quiet back office job where I was transcribing medical records, which a lot of wives of IT professionals do, I would have been fine because I would have been getting a paycheck in my own name, and I would be like, all right, this is my job, this is what I do, this is what I contribute to the family. But that was a thing, and I know that when he was working I know the work that I did. Just like Veer said at the beginning of this episode, right? I don't need recognition from anybody on the outside because when you are building something real, you know the work that you're doing. You don't need other people. There are troublemakers. Listen, there are troublemakers that are going to make trouble no matter what. If you guys were not being called Nepo babies, tomorrow you'll start getting called thankless
Yeah,
kids.
that was
Like
something
you're not
that I
even, your
realized.
mom built this whole thing and you don't even want to be a part of it. That happens too. So
Yeah.
final on nepotism. Why do we call it nepotism? Why don't we just call it building with family? Isn't it the same thing?
Nepotism
Because you're given
sounds
unfair
more
opportunity.
interesting.
Nepotism means you're given unfair opportunity. That and
Wait,
like you said, unfair and everything's equally unfair, whatever. But you are given unfair opportunity. That's what nepotism means to me. That's what it
I
means to
also
me.
And
think
plus, what are you supposed to do? Like, not give opportunity to the person you
Of
love so
course,
much because they're
you
your kid?
should. You should, but that's just
Wait.
you can decide to take it negatively or positively, but you should have the understanding that nepotism, whether negative or positive, in my opinion, as simple as you are given an unfair opportunity that 99.9%, not necessarily have to be this, but most of the time, 99.9% of other people aren't given that, can't even imagine getting that opportunity.
I think that I made an insight in my mind that the reason why nepotism has blown up in the last 10 years is because of social media. Because social media makes it more easy to understand family lineages than ever before, right? Like you can see who your family is, what they've built, how you're being born. Because for a while, like the magazines own the distribution of, oh, this celebrity's kid has been born. But now it's like the Kardashians are making an empire every single time the baby is born, and it's like a whole spectacle that is built by their own family, right? So it's super interesting because I think that the reason why things have changed so dramatically, because nepo babies have like any family that has done anything together, like with great magnitudes, is like using nepotism to some extent, but it's just blown out of proportion recently, and I think it's a social media thing.
Well, why don't we ask mom and dad? Dad, mom, you guys are from the older generation. What do you think?
Did
Do you
people
think
talk
nepotism is
about
not as
nepo
big as it
babies
is?
when you
Right,
guys were in
like-
your 20s?
No, because, and you're right, I think, because at that time you didn't have the access in that same way. So unless you knew the family well, how would you really talk about it? But now, Amitabh Bachchan and his son and his son's son and the daughter, it's all on social media. So you immediately see that, the reason this person is able to accomplish this is because of the contacts this person has from his family's this thing. So you're right. You're right about it. But technology has done that in every business.
I guess it's disrupted every business.
It's disrupted every business.
Yeah,
Why
every
wouldn't it
business.
disrupt the family business? That's true.
Anyway,
And-
I choose not to look at it as nepotism at all. I choose to look at it as building with family, which is my favorite thing to do. I don't really worry about the unfairness or the fairness of it all on both sides. Just as I don't sit around talking about how unfair life was or was not to me, and I've had my shares of ups and downs, I don't choose to fixate on other people's advantages and disadvantages. I think my time is better spent navigating what is and not wasting time on hoping on what it could be. And I urge everybody to focus on their life that's in front of them and what are the best choices they can make to position themselves for success. That's it. I don't really worry about all. There's so many unfair advantages. Where to begin? I'm 5 feet tall. I could walk around with anger and hostility at everybody who's taller than me. That would be literally the whole world. So there's no end to this, but as we end every episode with a round of good grades with Garg, so too we will end this episode with a round of good grades with Gargs, where each Garg assigns an A grade to another Garg for the winning move, for the winning moment of the episode, for the enlightening, entertaining moment. So who wants to go first?
Wait,
I'll go
Veer,
first.
did you wait? Hold on. Didn't Veer have something to say before we got into this? I'm like
I
99%
did have something
sure.
to say. I
Okay,
did have
can you
something
say
to
it
say.
now?
I was gonna
Okay.
actually, I was gonna say, since everybody's dropping quotes this episode, I thought I should drop a quote.
Okay.
One of my favorite quotes. It's that hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard.
Oh,
That's the quote.
Hard work beats
Okay.
talent.
Oh my God. Whose
That's
code
pretty
is that? Who are
cool.
you coding?
I don't know
Yeah.
who originated. I hear it all from different people, but I don't know who
Yeah.
originated the quote. So
Wow.
Yeah, that's a
And I'm going to give my A grade to Bridge. I mean, that interpretation that he did of Veer's question and how his mom was involved in the creation of the wealth that got invested in a business, I think that was spectacular. It was
That
really
was
smart.
cool. I want to give my A grade to Veer. I never really thought about the distinction between like respect versus, I can't remember what the other word was. It wasn't it wasn't a matter of hard work. It was a matter of respect. I really loved that, and I mean, I even loved the quote as well.
Okay. Bridge?
I think I could give my A grade to. I'm gonna give my A grade to everyone on this podcast today because I thought that everyone had. We rarely all five of us have unique, completely separate opinions on a topic, and I thought it was really interesting to see everyone's unique stance on different things when it comes to nepotism. And it was just, I don't think we've ever had a podcast where all five of us are completely in different sections, but it was so amazing to see us all work towards one kind of understanding or at least kind of discuss it. And I think that's what really excited me about this episode. So I think everyone gets my A today.
Okay. I had a clear favorite midpoint of this episode, but then the kids decided to gang up on me, and that shifted the favorite from people I will not name. And now, with extreme prejudice, I'm going to by default award the A grade to your dad,
Oh my
who
god.
clearly does not deserve it, but
Oh
neither
my
do the
god.
three of you. Neither do the three of you, because you started for no reason. I caught strays in this episode for absolutely nothing. So I do think that one of the things that your dad has done is not take the success or the failures too seriously. And therefore, this whole nepotism thing, he's not even aware of. he, he's routinely surprised by the fact that people know who we are. And I think that it's something extremely charming about that. And I hope it stays that way. And for that reason, also, he gets my A grade. But we would love to hear your thoughts on this topic.
I didn't
We
get
would
Oh
my
no
A
no,
grade
we
yet.
didn't.
You
we
guys
didn't.
literally just like. Okay, I'm not even. I hope the comments can make something out of the two things that happened today. But
Did I
Um,
cut you
I'm-
off?
I don't care who cut me off. I hope the comments
I
can. They've
forgot.
watched this
I
podcast.
lost
I want to
track.
hear.
Veer became so hostile to me midway through this episode that we now have this weird energy.
Oh my
Okay,
god.
go ahead, Veer.
Go ahead, give your
Um,
A grade.
I'm gonna give my A grade to Baya because I thought his pushback on my 2 points, the one about mom and dad, nepo husband wife whatever, and my definition for nepotism, were both great points in response to what I said.
Are you done? Do you have any more to say?
Why are you
I'm
being
done.
like this? You
I'm
don't have to
giving
be
you-
like this.
Oh my god!
You're
I
the most
can't win.
sassy person I think I've ever met in my life. I'm gonna
I
be honest.
can't win. I cannot win. I'm trying to give
No,
you.
you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. No,
I'm
you
doing
know
nothing.
exactly what you're doing. You know
I'm
exactly
trying
what
to
you're
be
doing.
understanding over here. I don't
Okay,
know why
yeah,
you're
all right.
attacking me. And why are you attacking me? Veer, if Veer has something to say to me, he can say it. Like, why
No,
are
because
you
you do
acting
this
like
so
that?
much and you do it against me most of the time, so I understand it.
Oh my god. Okay. Anyway, this episode needs to round up before we start exploring. Please tell us what Veer, you have anything else?
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
People who are listening, followers, viewers, please tell us what you think. Is nepotism an issue in your life? Are you dealing with it on one side or the other side? Are you angry at it? Do you understand it? Also, if you enjoy this episode, if you enjoy this type of banter, please like, share, and subscribe our episodes. We are trying to grow our audience and bring more people and more perspectives into this world. We can't wait to hear from you. We read every comment, just so you know. We read every comment. We get all your feedback and we use it to try to make better and better episodes. And we can't wait to hear from you soon. Until we meet again, everyone say bye.
Bye.